Hey everybody, my name is Eric Hopkins and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're finding me for the very first time, please click that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content right here on this channel. So last week I did not get a chance to review Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 6 because I was away visiting family. And I thought, to be honest, that Episode 6 was there wasn't much to it, outside of the fact that we had a couple characters return from another part of the Star Wars universe. I won't say who they are just yet, because if you've not seen it in my reviews, basically what I like to do is start out my reviews without mentioning any spoilers, and then midway through I give a spoiler warning, and that's when I discuss all the details about whatever it is I'm reviewing. So in that regard, I won't spoil anything here just yet, but stick around, I will get to spoilers here in a minute. So I thought that episode 6 really didn't have a whole lot to get into, so I decided to wait another week and combine our reviews here for last week and this week. That on top of the fact that I'm putting out this review a few days late. I'm trying to get better about my timing of my reviews. I just want to let you guys know that. But I am going to be upfront about Star Wars The Bad Batch reviews here on my channel. I don't know if they're worth doing weekly reviews of the episodes, so I may or may not continue to do weekly reviews of Star Wars The Bad Batch. At some point I may just wait until the end of the season and review the season as a whole, because it feels like with 16 episodes in this series, for season 1 that is, it would be kind of like, all right, maybe we're doing a little, there's some episodes that are not going to be as important as others, but I think the overall season storyline is going to be worth talking about. But overall, each week there may not be a whole lot to discuss. But I do feel like they're building and building and building this series, and I think it's going to pay off nicely by the end of the season, as a lot of the Star Wars animated shows do. But sometimes week to week, they don't have a whole lot to discuss. So I may go that route, or I could do what I do this week and maybe double up where I do 2 episodes every other week. So I may do that too, but just keep an eye on the channel. So if you don't see a review every single week for this show, just know that that's the reason. I do feel like I'll continue to do weekly reviews for Loki, or if, like, say, The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett return and all that stuff. I just feel like for this series, there's going to be a few episodes here and there that don't have a whole lot to discuss. So just bear that in mind moving forward. But as for Season 6, Episode 6, forgive me, Decommissioned, I felt, like I said, it was a good little episode, kind of a bit of a filler, but it set up Episode 7. So I thought in that case they did a good job. And of course, the payoff in Episode 7 is what makes it worth it. And it answers a big question that the Star Wars universe has wondered, or at least the fan base has wondered, about the Bad Batch characters themselves being clones. What was going to happen with them in this story? So I thought overall these 2 episodes combined were a good little watch here, and I think the season so far has been pretty good. If it's anything like The Mandalorian or anything else that Dave Filoni has been involved in, sometimes there are episodes that don't feel as important, but eventually they do add up to something big by the time the end of the season rolls around. And even though they seem a little pointless, there's always details that will eventually rear their head later, and you'll realize, oh, it wasn't as much of a filler after all. So, with that being said, I probably should continue to do my weekly reviews then, huh? But anyway, if I do that, I'm going to try to continue to bring them out a little bit sooner so they're not a few days late, and like I am in this case. So hopefully you guys can understand that. It's been a busy week with E3 and things like that going on here. So, yeah, we'll try to get back on track this week for sure. So with that being said, I think the 2 episodes were really good. So if you are a big fan of the Star Wars The Bad Batch, go check them out, especially Episode 7. It answers a big question in regards to the Bad Batch themselves. So I'm going to get into some spoilers here. So if you've not seen the episode yet, please tune out now. But if you've seen the episode, hang in there just a few seconds, and I'll be right back with all the details moving forward. Okay, so Episode 6, the 2 characters that made their return in that episode were Trace and Rafa Martez, who Ahsoka Tano met at the end of the Clone Wars series before the finale. So let's just run over the synopsises for Episodes 6 and 7 here. Sid hires the Bad Batch in the Decommissioned episode to retrieve a Separatist tactical droid for its battle intel before it is destroyed at a Corellian decommissioning site. They encounter police droids guarding the facility, as well as Trace and Rafa, who are also after the droid. Wrecker accidentally hits his head and his inhibitor chip begins to activate, which is going to be vital in the next episode. Tech and the sisters program the tactical droid to turn on the police droids, allowing them to escape. But the tactical droid is destroyed in the process. The sisters explain that they were retrieving it for a client who is fighting the Empire. Hunter gives them a copy of the droid's data that Tech made during the fight, and the sisters later tell their client how to find the Bad Batch. And their client is kind of shrouded in mystery at the end of episode 6, so you're left to wonder, who are they talking to? But we know he or she is fighting the Empire. So that led into episode 7, not season. I don't know why I keep saying that. Episode 7, Battle Scars. After failing to return with the tactical droid's data, Sid tells the Bad Batch that they will need to do a big job to pay off their debt to her. They are interrupted by Trace and Rafa's mystery client, their old friend, Captain Rex. Yes, Captain Rex from the Clone Wars animated series, and also later on in the timeline shows up in Star Wars Rebels. So we get to see him yet again here, and he gets to meet up with his old friends, the Bad Batch. Rex is alarmed, though, to learn that the Bad Batch have yet to remove their inhibitor chips after episode 3, because if you saw the series finale of Clone Wars, you know why he's concerned about that, because he himself, his inhibitor chip went off, and he tried to kill Ahsoka Tano, and of course, you know, he knows about all the stuff that went on during that whole Order 66 ordeal. They go to Bracca, a starship graveyard planet controlled by the Scrapper Guild, to basically sneak into an old Jedi cruiser and use its medical bay to remove the Bad Batch's inhibitor chips. That's exactly how Rex had his inhibitor chip removed in the Clone Wars series finale. And of course, you know, the planet Bracca and this graveyard for starships is the exact same, you know, graveyard and planet that was in the Jedi Fallen Order video game. So a little bit of a connective tissue here between the TV shows and the video game. So I thought that was kind of cool. While there, though, Wrecker's agitation activates his chip and he attacks his teammates, but he is subdued and the chip was removed. Rex takes his leave after all the chips are removed from the Bad Batch, and they say goodbye, but Hunter is then seen by members of the Scrapper Guild on this planet, and they report the Bad Batch's whereabouts to the Empire. So again, we're building and building and building slowly to the next episode, and I think by the season's end, it's going to build to a crescendo, as most seasons are supposed to do for any TV show, and it's going to be a nice climax at the end of the season, probably with the Bad Batch crew meeting, or, you know, going nose to nose against Crosshair and, you know, his squad or whatever it might be, and they're either going to have to try to confront him and save him, or it could end badly. We'll have to see where it goes. I like the story they're telling here. I just feel like with 16 episodes, and they're only 25 minutes or so a piece, they go by so quick, and sometimes they don't have a whole lot of details per episode. So I'm thinking by the end of the season, the whole story arc of the season is going to be well told, and it's going to be a good story. It's just one of those seasons, since the episodes are so short, it would almost be better to binge them back to back to back to back all the way through instead of doing it week to week. But I understand why you want to do that, especially on Disney Plus. You want to have content. So I think that this, you know, series will be good by the end of it. But sometimes week to week, it's kind of like, okay, cool. Can't wait till next week, you know, kind of one of those deals. So, I mean, I think it works better for the longer storytelling, like a Mandalorian or a Marvel series like Loki or Falcon Winter Soldier, where they're a little bit longer, but 20 minutes or so sometimes is a little too short for my taste. I get it's a cartoon and they don't want to go too long because kids have shorter attention spans and things like that. So I understand the logic behind it. I just feel like by season's end, we're going to appreciate this season much more. But it was good to see Captain Rex back. Obviously, there's a long gap between Revenge of the Sith and, you know, Star Wars Rebels, where we don't really know about what happens with Captain Rex and Ahsoka for sure. Will we see Ahsoka in this series? I don't know. I honestly don't know if they should do that, because I feel like maybe an episode or so here and there, but I don't know if she needs to be in it a whole lot. Kind of like in Rebels, where she wasn't in a great deal. She was in it quite a bit at Rebels at times, but I think this show needs to stay focused on the Bad Batch. You know, tell us some interesting stories there. I'm still excited to see where, you know, the story with Omega is going. What was her purpose for being created by the Kaminoans? How the Empire is going to react with the Kaminoans being upset that the Empire stopped their contract, so to speak, with the clones, and wanting the clones for the Empire. So will the Kaminoans do something rash and try to turn on the inhibitor chips with the remaining clones to turn on the Empire? And is that going to explain why the Empire fully embraces the idea of recruitment of, you know, people throughout the galaxy who may not be trained the best, which is why the stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a barn in the original trilogy? or are we going to get any sort of backlash for that, or are they just, are they just doing it because it's cheaper? So it'll be interesting to see. There's still a lot of questions this show can answer, and of course, obviously, the dynamic between all the Bad Batch characters themselves. That is something that's worth exploring as well. So I like where they're setting things up. It's a slow build, so definitely have patience with this series. Definitely have patience with my reviews, and hopefully I'll get some more out here and definitely get them a little bit sooner, especially when it comes to shows like Loki or the Bad Batch or anything on Disney Plus or the streaming that I'm reviewing. I want to make sure if I could start getting those put out day of, that would be a lot better. So I'm going to try to work on that. So you have my promise that I'm going to at least attempt to be a little bit quicker about that. So, but as of this series overall, I think it's off to a good start. But let's be patient with it as fans, and hopefully it will improve moving forward. But what do you guys think about the Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 6 and 7? Please comment down below. Let me know. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content right here on this channel. And until my next video, guys, take care.
We about to turn it on.